It's your boy FRE, $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way, dash THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. And welcome back to another episode of Jeep Talk. Ah, man, I love these Jeep Talks. It gives me a chance to get the things that are off my mind onto camera. So whether, other people can give me insight, or I can give other people insight, or I can watch this in the future, I'll be able to remember these conversations that I had, because they are important conversations that you have when you go through life. And it's very important to get the information out, because if it doesn't help somebody else, it can help you in the future. So again, welcome to Jeep Talk episode 59, a parenting conversation on discipline and education. So recently, okay, so for those that don't know, I have two children. I have a son and I have a daughter. My daughter is 18. She just turned 18 this year. She's getting ready to go to Ghana for cosmetology school. I'm working on getting her a credit card, because it's important that she has a credit card when she goes to another country, so that if something happens, I can either send her money, she can have protection, because a credit card is more protection than a debit card. And, it also gives you the chance to build your income. So when she does return back to the States from Ghana, from getting her cosmetology license, she can actually have the credit to build and start her business in cosmetology. I also have a son that's 9 years old who lives with me. Lives with me meaning every day I wake up in the morning, as y'all see, and take him to school every morning. Every night, every day after work, I pick him up from work. And, we have our conversations. We have our things. Sometimes, most of the time, he's a real good kid. Very, very smart. Smarter than what I ever was when I was a kid. And I wasn't gifted and talented. But there are issues where I have to show discipline. Now, I'm not saying I don't believe in, the old school spanking the kids. I just beating the kids, pause. I just believe that as long as I can try at a younger age to try another way of disciplining, it's a better route. Because if you need to switch over to a more aggressive form when the child gets older, then it's not like the child is used to it or accustomed to it, and it doesn't have the same effect as importance as showing how serious you are about the matter when they get older. Just a quick question real quick. Give me a 1 and a 2. If you're in the chat room and you believe in using the belt, type 1. If you believe in no belt, no confrontation, type 2. I used to think it's a black thing, but then I realized there's a lot of white people, a lot of Latin people that use the chancleta. We're gonna call it all together. The chancleta, the belt, it's all the same thing. So I'm just gonna say belt, because that's how we did it in black and up north. Down south, they might be switches, all that stuff. So just bear with me there, y'all. So recently, my son, he created this on live yet, but son is a very great student. He does amazingly great, but he's a black kid from Newark, from West Orange, now from where his mother lives. And kids, we have a roasting thing as kids. It's the same thing as when we were kids. Shout out to Jet Set and Mac. Is we're, as kids, at least I can only speak for as a black person, we made jokes on people. We made jokes on other kids in school. We made jokes. It wasn't as far. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, that's bullying." No, it wasn't as far as a bullying thing. But even with our own friends, we joked back and forth. We made jokes that was funny. So recently, my son had a situation at school. Now, and kids that 9. My son is 9, so all the kids are still young and they're joking. And my son and my son's teacher sent me a message and said that my son had said a girl had the face, the smile, had the mouth of a monkey or something like that, a monkey mouth, right? Now you got two black 9-year-olds joking, and he says the girl has a monkey mouth or a smile of a monkey or something like that, and everybody laughs and he gets in trouble. And I go, well, no, he gets in trouble. I go, well, what did she say? Because I'm sure that my son doesn't just come out and say something. They may have been joking back and forth like other incidents when people were joking back and forth. Well, I don't know what she said. The teacher goes, I don't know what she said. It was a word of mouth. That's why your son didn't get too much in trouble. I'm like, yeah, but he had to stop doing gym. So I would assume that the other teacher, the other student had to do the exact same thing, right? And she goes, no, it wasn't that serious. Then why did my son get taken out just because of that? Now, mind you, this is a younger teacher, so I know she's trying to go by the rules, but this is a younger teacher, and it's still not equaling. So I was like, you know what? All right, cool. He said she had a monkey. She said this was a vulgar statement. And then I realized, I believe I know why she said it was a vulgar statement. She said it's a vulgar statement because my son is half white. Because his mother's white. And my son looks light-skinned. So it comes off to her as my son calling another kid a black monkey, and that being, or saying they have not black, having a black monkey mouth, and that being for her, from her, black woman thought process or black person thought process, being a some kind of vulgar thing. I said, did he curse? She said, no, he didn't curse. He didn't use any profanity? No. Did he touch her? No. Did he yell at her? Not yell, no. Nobody heard it. So you're telling me my son got in trouble for making a joke about a girl, and the girl, and he just came out and did that like a bully. He said, well, not exactly. It's word of mouth. So you know what? I know she's younger. She's a younger teacher. She doesn't understand. Let me not put too much pressure on her. She's just learning. Cool. The next week, my son is very, very smart. I keep telling you guys this because, like, certain kids, they're really smart. So my son, because of that situation with the girl, I told my son that he couldn't use his video games for 2 weeks. He couldn't use his video games for 2 weeks. And because he couldn't use his video games, I said, you can still go on YouTube and you can look at stuff on YouTube. You can still watch Netflix. You can still watch all that. You just can't play video games because I know that's your thing. So when you do something like in class, because if it was after school, I wouldn't have punished him. But he did it in class. So when you do something in class that's not classwork and not what the teacher wants you to do, I'm going to punish you, and the significance of it is going to be based on what you did. I know 2 weeks might sound exorbitant for what it was, but it was a lot of other stuff that, little small stuff that added up. And I said, you know what, just gonna bunch it all in one, give you 2 weeks of no video games. Cool. So then to this week, a week later rather, not even a week, like 4 or 5 days later, it was like the next Tuesday. My son, again, he can't play video games, and so he's reading books. He has books he likes to read. The Chainsaw Man is like an anime book. Kids are into anime this lifetime. We weren't as much when I was a kid, but they're into anime. And my son says, he goes online, he finds out how to build a piece of the armor that the anime character has, right? Now, mind you, I was never this type of building person, but my son goes on YouTube and he finds how to use paper and use paper as a origami type paper to build certain armor components of the character on his favorite anime book that he's reading. He took 3 different pieces of paper. He took 3 different pieces of paper. He put the paper together in 3 different parts and attached it all together. But I was impressed. I was so impressed by what my son created that he was able to swing it around like it was like on a rope, but it wasn't a rope. It was the paper that he connected together. I was so impressed. And he did it all without tape, without glue, by himself, just watching YouTube videos and figuring out how to do it by himself. I was so impressed. I was excited for him. He was happy. He still couldn't play video games, but I was excited for him because he was happy. My son went back in his room. He went to sleep. And the next day, without asking me, which was one reason why I gave him no phone. He couldn't use the phone either yesterday, but today he can. He, without asking me, he put it in his book bag because he wanted to show he was proud of what he did because he's seen his father, give him props for what he did. And so he wanted to take it to his friends and show his friends. Now, mind you, we had a conversation about not doing stuff in class. My son goes to after school program. So I said, if you want to show your friends after school, you can show your friends after, or you're not if you want to show your friends. If you want to talk to your friends, because this is before he built the armor. He's like, if you want to talk to your friends, talk to them after school. If you want to make jokes, make them after school. It's in class, you're only supposed to do classwork. This is the only reason why he got in trouble yesterday, because the other stuff I'm going to say is going to be different. Again, if you're just joining this live, welcome to Jeep Talk episode 59, discussion, a conversation on a parenting conversation on discipline and education. So again, for those that don't know, my son goes to a private school. And the school, private, Catholic, whatever, private school, it has different rules than what a public school would have. But because most private and Catholic schools have a stronger discipline and less students because it costs money to put your kid in there, it is a better way to educate children from the age of kindergarten or pre-K until 8th grade. I feel like that's the most crucial time of what you need to educate your kids or discipline your children, because after 8th grade, they're pretty much set in who they are. Now, yes, you can change a little bit of things in high school. Yes, little things will change in high school, maybe a little bit more if they go to college or go to a trade school. But mostly of who the child is going to become, this is my belief, and how the child is going to be disciplined and educated occurs from pre-K to 8th grade. So I think that's the most important time to have them in the best schools. In high school, they can go to public school. As long as the public school is a good public school, decent public school, they can go to public school. And if they got that base education, they're going to be good. So I send my son to the private school. So without my permission, my son puts his new creation of the armament from the anime thing in his bag so that he could show his friends when he gets to school. Say, hey, my dad was proud of me. I'm going to show my friends what I created through paper, just attaching paper together from a YouTube video I saw. He then takes the paper to school, but unlike the conversation we had about not doing stuff in class, he decides to bring his ornament out in class and play with it and show to all his friends, this is what I created in the middle of class. Now, automatically, he gets in trouble for that. And I back that 1,000%. He automatically gets in trouble for that. And I'm like, I understand that. I get a message. Now, mind you, this is a young teacher. When I say young teacher, the teacher's probably like 24, 25. First year, he's a first year teaching. So you got to so as an older person who's known the world a lot more, I understand there are going to be some things she over-exaggerates. But this is the same teacher that said that he was saying stuff and disciplined him without, and said that it was vulgar to call a girl monkey mouth when he did it the week before. So I'm still keeping, I'm like, I understand she's a young teacher, but let me keep track of this because this is kind of weird. So the same teacher goes and sends me an email. Your son has brought a weapon to school and was using it in class. I say, oh, what? Mind you, y'all, this is the same week. This is my son. My son is we don't even curse in my house. You guys know me on YouTube. I don't even curse, use profanity on YouTube. So vulgar doesn't happen. We're not, I'm not aggressive. My son, I teach my son, hey, what the heck? If somebody hits you, you hit them back. I don't say go tell the teacher. I say no. If somebody hits you, you hit them harder, because that's not telling the teacher is not going to solve the person bullying you. And it's been situations like that where that happened and it was okay. I was so confused when I got this email about my son bringing a weapon to school that I immediately pulled over from where I was at work and I made the call to find out what's going on. The teacher goes, he brought this paper weapon to school that's in the shape of a knife, which to me believe that the teacher's never seen a knife. The teachers never probably even, yeah, the teachers never seen a knife. I just say the teachers never seen a knife, because this thing did not look like a knife at all. It flung around. It wasn't even sharp, but it was maybe it was the front of a paper plane. And I'm looking like, wait a minute. So you're telling me you consider a weapon something made of paper, similar to a paper plane, similar to origami, and you consider that a weapon? And I said, this is where words matter. Because words matter, because your interpretation of weapon doesn't fit the definition of a weapon. So I'm going back with the teacher, and I realize, okay, this teacher's too young. She's not going to understand. This is her first year. I'll talk to the people above. So I call the school administration, and now I'm having a conversation with the administration, and the administration and I come to an understanding that, hey, by definition, this is not a weapon. So I need you to change the wording when you write this up, because if this is a weapon, then no one can have paper planes in school. No one create origami in school. There's a bunch of other things in school that people have that are considered a weapon. Now, I will say, they didn't say he was utilizing the weapon or anything like that. He just said that he brought something, like a paper in the shape of a weapon. She doesn't even know what she said it was in the shape of a gun. This is what she said. The teacher said it was in the shape of a gun. I said, there's no way you've seen that. You've never seen a gun either. I'm like, it's just, to me, it was like, I'm trying to say it's not the teacher being biased because of the first incident that happened about him calling a girl a monkey mouth. I'm trying to say it's not that, and it's just the fact that the teacher hasn't lived enough and is not educated enough to understand the difference of a shape of a gun or a knife and a weapon and a paper object or armor that was created from an anime comic. So again, my son did get punished, and he wasn't able to use his phone as well as his video games yesterday, because he brought it to school. But I didn't punish him because it was a weapon, or punish him because here's the thing about discipline. I told you, I had to tell you guys a story, because now we could talk about the discipline and the education. As a parent, if your son or daughter creates something, anything in between, create something that they're proud of, and you're proud of them for doing that, and then they take it to school, and then you punish them completely for creating that thing, they no longer want to create. They no longer want to think outside of the box, because they think that what they do is, at a young age, they attach that trouble to what they were building. What's going on, R-Dub? They attach that I'm gonna get in trouble to what they were building, and that restricts creativity. If they can't understand the whole concept, because they don't see it as a weapon, which by definition is not. They don't see it as something. They don't see that the teacher may be not educated enough to understand the difference between a gun, a knife, and a paper mache shape. So it's something that it's not going to be easy to explain to your child. So the way I feel as though I had the discipline had to be with that in mind, because if I didn't do it with that in mind, my son may never wanted to create something again on his own. And so when he asked me, he said, "Dad, can I create stuff still, but just not take it to school?" I said, yes. You could still go online. You could create stuff. You can build. Again, I was very impressed. 3 parts on paper mache. He had to twist it and do it like this. He had to watch the video 100 times, and to get it right on his own, he did it. He was creative. And I realized that while private schools, and I went to private and public schools, so I had a gist of both. While private schools are great for discipline, I do believe that because private schools or Catholic schools are set in a way that is no longer the best for the kid as far as education, as far as having a free mind, I feel as though if your child solely goes to Catholic school or solely goes to private school during the duration of their lifetime, it can be detrimental for them, for their growth in the future, because the child is restricted a lot in private and Catholic schools. So, but I do believe life is about balance. So this is where I'm talking to you guys. We're just talking in general, just having a conversation among adults about discipline and education. And while the discipline allows for the education, my son is extremely smart. He gets all the top grades, all that stuff. He's extremely smart, and he does well. At what level does discipline matter more than education? I mean, like, for me, I had a very different upbringing as far as the schools I went to. Some schools closing, me getting kicked out of some schools, me going to some schools. So I'm still putting together what is a good balance of education versus discipline without creating a child who is so disciplined that they're not willing to think outside of the box, build different items, or explore different opportunities because they're so disciplined by the school that they go to. You know what I mean? And you know, this is just a conversation I'm having with myself. It's a conversation I'm sharing with you guys, because this is just like some of the parents that are active in their children's life go through, and we have to come to. I didn't really have this much of an issue with my daughter. My daughter had other issues as a girl, which I'm happy that her mother handled a lot of them, but she did have some issues. I wish my daughter was more financially educated, but it's partially on me. But she understands the gist, the basis of it. It's very difficult because, again, a lot of children, girls, are not automatically good at math. They're not automatically good at science. So that's going to be a difficult part, I think, with all girls. I don't know if it's a genetic thing or just because the different lifestyles that in America that we've set up for them to be. So while my daughter is good with achieving money, I think her money spending habits aren't the best. You know what I mean? So I'm hopefully, now that she's out of high school, she's older now, we can have the different conversations. She knows she's doing the right thing. She wanted to start a bank account. I helped her start a bank account. She wants to build her credit. I'm helping her build her credit. So there's a lot of things that she wants, she's working towards, and I'm proud of her because of it. Because there's a lot of kids at 18, even guys, even boys, that are not doing that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of kids, and I'm going to go through a rough part right now, but there's a lot of kids at like 18, 19, shoot 25 that don't have a credit card, that don't have a bank account, that still have that boost, that all they have is the Cash App. So there's people at 30, 35 who all they have is a Cash App card. And you know, there's nothing wrong, no disrespect to them, but I'm proud of my daughter for wanting to, you know, start this journey early, and I just got to make sure she does it right so that she doesn't mess up her credit in the future or something like that. But it's good for her to learn now while she's 18. But with my son, is like, again, my daughter went to public school her whole life. She just got to a better public school because I moved her and her mother at the time out of the rough area they was in to a better area. And my son, time's a lot harder now. The schooling is a lot harder. There are charter schools in Newark. However, the amount of students in charter school or in public school makes it difficult for the teachers to concentrate on each student and their individual needs, which is why I pay almost $10,000 a year to send my son to private school. Yes, you heard me right. I pay almost $10,000 a year, and it's going to get messed up right here, to send my son to private school, because of the fact that I think that between pre-K and 8th grade is when a child really becomes educated.